well, what if he could do that throughout infinite realities, infinite souls? So he's got this. So he gets a hold of this book in his reality. He goes to one reality. He captures a Dr. Spectral in that reality and steals the book from him. And then he finds that the way to do this thing is you have to find the elements of this lost artifact called the pentagram stone, which is scattered in pieces. It's like scattered in pieces throughout different realities and different areas. So he gathers a bunch of bad guys, and that's like some of our creepy bad guys, and he sends them out on their little errands to gather the pieces of this pentagram stone and bring it back to him. In the meantime, Dr. Spectral has become aware that the Dr. Spectral in another reality has been robbed of his voice management. So it's his job to step up and cover him, try to recover that and prevent what's going to happen. So he finds out what the plan is. He sends out the good guys. It's like, you've got to recover these pieces of the pentagram stone before this Saint Samhain does. Otherwise, he's going to release the dead of infinite realities, all the souls. So you have this kind of like, it's like this race to see who can get this pentagram stone first. And that becomes like, a lot of interesting conflicts, and you get the characters' interactions and, face-offs, and you find out that there are some tricks and twists and turns in there, especially toward the end. And that leads us to the second book, without spoiling anything. It leads us to the second book, and in the second book, our heroes are dealing with the fallout from the first book, and whatever that may happen to be, without giving away how that turns out. That struggle to achieve, it's like, what do you call, like a scavenger hunt for the pieces of the pentagram stone. How that turns out, it's like we'll see what happens, and then it's a matter of like, well, what do you have to do now? What's the next step? And there's some tricks there are ways to defeat St. Samhain's plans. It's not going to be easy. And I happen to have a couple of extra people that I kind of brought in who had characters that were also interesting and tied right into this thing, and I loved their characters. And I'm like, you gotta come in and be part of this. So I had a couple of guys, and one of them was Dale Yaddo, who has a character named Seance, and I just loved the character. I'm like, she's great. I'm like, so I brought her in at the very tail end of the first book, and she kind of helps us lead off the second book. So it's kind of like she's the bridge, but she's a part of this. She can basically like, what's the word I'm looking for? She doesn't eat ghosts. She can kind of like draw their essence in, and then control it and use it as a power. So that's kind of cool, because there's like infinite ghosts running around, and she's like able to do that. Of course we can't have her overload, so there's going to be like some balance and some trick in there. And then there's different guys that do different things, and it's like, how are we going to figure something out that can kind of like counteract this? And it's going to be some unsuspected things that are going to be kind of interesting, little bit tricky stuff. But that's, so the second one is basically coming to bring this particular problem to a conclusion. But the guys that have formed, these guys, a group of them will, like, go, okay, we've got another problem here. And then it's like, okay, well, we need to solve these things when they come up. And that's where you get your Twilight Order. And so we can do more books past this with similar types of things.